Hello and welcome to Nationwide, reaching you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Lami Ali. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also join us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News, and Instagram, NTA Network, for updates. Now, the automobile industry in Nigeria is rallying stakeholders to seek a social financing solution for Nigerians to own brand new made in Nigeria vehicles. At a workshop for executive course participants at the National Institute for Security Studies, Abuja, speakers examined the slow growth of the Nigerian automobile industry. Kelvin Eunwai reports.
The role of the National Automotive Design and Development Council in responding to climate change in Nigeria was the focus of the conversation. It afforded the agency an opportunity to take the participants on a journey of Nigeria's modest efforts in the development of electric and gas-powered vehicles, an initiative the agency's Director General, Jelani Aliyu, described as the country's response to climate change impacts.
We all remember the huge incentives government has given to sugar, cement and rice. We hope the same thing is done for automobiles so that a huge part of money is set aside to finance vehicle purchase by Nigerians, so that any Nigerian that can prove they have a sustainable income can put down just 10%, drive off with a brand new made in Nigeria vehicle and pay over 5 years.
Other speakers believed that such intervention funds will not only assist Nigerians to own new vehicles, but help cut down on carbon emissions from old vehicles, which compounds the challenge posed by climate change. In Abuja, Kelvin Eunwai, NTA News.
In the midst of energy crisis, the Federal Executive Council has sustained interventions to improve electricity supply with approval of additional 5 billion naira for grid expansion projects. This is coming as latest data released by the National Bureau of Statistics suggests more investment be made in the sector to meet electricity demand. Joshua Ojito reports.
The drop in power generation, multiple collapses of the national grid, with consumers groaning over poor electricity supply, attracts attention of the Federal Executive Council. More worrisome is the loss of power generated during transmission and distribution, as released in the latest data by the National Bureau of Statistics, suggesting more investment in renewable energy to meet the 1,000 megawatts requirement per 1 million people. The Power Minister again presents more memos to the Federal Executive Council for upgrade and expansion of the transmission arm for grid stability, and approval speedily granted.
One of the conditions of the loan is to clear the right-of-way.
More than 5 billion naira required for the payment of compensation to persons affected by the 203 kilometers expansion line from Lagos to Ogun State, with 6 substations to be constructed.
We've never, in the history of Nigeria, witnessed the level of funding in the power sector and intervention funding. Is it the cement project? Is it the World Bank? IMF? Is it metering and what have you? So the president on his part has done his best. There's no request that have been made that have not been granted. So having done his best as Mr. President, we expected so much from the various leadership.
It is expected that with the investments in the sector, it will translate to improved power supply. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
And President Muhammadu Buhari has described the newly turbaned Mutawalli of Ilorin, Dr. Alimi Abdulrazak, as a great philanthropist who has immensely contributed to the law profession as well as education. In a congratulatory message delivered by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo as the turbaning events, the president says he hopes the co-founder of the Nigeria Council for Human Rights will continue to be a source of inspiration to other Nigerians. Details of this report will come to you in our subsequent bulletin. Time now to join Hingino in Lagos for more news on Nationwide. Hingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lami. The Customs Strike Force Team Zone A has recharged its patrolling and interdiction capacity for round-the-clock operations with the view to suppressing smugglers and those circumventing due process of import and export. The coordinator of the team, Mohammed Sani Yusuf, at his maiden briefing in Lagos, stressed the need for honest declaration. Michael Alale reports.
A change in leadership at the Customs Strike Force Team, Zone A, has not in any way reduced the fears and aggressiveness of officers against smuggling activities. We intercepted about 700. This time, the Customs has heightened its surveillance measures, boost operational capacity of officers, while constantly combing suspected flashpoints. These measures have resulted in the seizure of these 3 20-foot containers of timbers with duty-paid value in the region of 177 million naira. This is coming at a time the harvesting of trees in the hinterland is threatening the ecosystem.
The negative effect, you can see the climatic change that we're having now. If we have a lot of trees in place, the environment will be okay. And that's why there's a need for all hands to be on deck to make sure that timber and other items should not be allowed to go out.
Apart from intercepting 1,000 bags of foreign rice and discovering 44 sacks of donkey skins abandoned in a warehouse in Lagos, the Customs was particularly furious with the seizure of these 137.3 kilograms of Indian hemp.
Somebody will just start and kill somebody. A right-thinking person who thinks normal wouldn't go and think, not with the role of all these kind of drugs. Of course, the ideologies are there, but ideology will not just make you think. You must take drugs like this, which is psychotropic. So automatically, we should make sure that at least we nip this. It's not just about the strike force, about the customs. It's about everybody.
Within 4 weeks of its anti-smuggling operations, the Customs Strike Force Team Zone A has raised revenue in form of demand notices in the sum of 650 million naira. A remarkable feat, but the team is not resting on its achievements as it has declared a heated anti-smuggling action against smugglers and their syndicates. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Some less privileged children in the slum of Ijarabadia, Lagos, have sued for peaceful coexistence among nations of the world in order to overcome socio-economic challenges across the globe. Olumide Guntola reports that the children were on the streets of Ijara with their vision statement.
Time immemorial, children, among other vulnerable groups, have always been the victims of conflict, misunderstandings, and war in any society. These children often become orphans and product of single parenting with their life visions depleted. To avoid scenarios like these, some children in the slum of Ijarabadia, Lagos, are advocating for harmonious relationship among communities and nations of the world through pictorial representation. Tutored by some concerned Nigerians, with this 4x40 feet blue and yellow painting, the children are saying no to all forms of modern-day slavery and unrest on a day they described as Freedom Day.
Using our artwork painting to promote peace all over the world, so that Ukraine and Russia will stop fighting.
No matter what kind of conflicts can occur between two nations or two persons, peace is always the solution. Both nations, Ukraine and Russia, and the rest of the world, to embrace peace, to embrace diplomacy, stop the killing, stop the bombing, stop everything that has to do with violence, and come together, sit on the table, and actually have this discussion.
And put the black human race at the forefront of the global economy by building a knowledge and skill-based society with financial inclusion. Without financial inclusion, we cannot actually have peace of mind.
Part of the vision of the children is to help eradicate poverty by providing food, potable water, health care, and quality education to the needy and to also improve lives of indigent children and support various humanitarian activities across the globe through the activities, especially in areas experiencing unrest, in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In Lagos, Olumide Kuntola, NTA News.
That's our bit here in Lagos. Gabriel in Port Harcourt has the next set of reports. But don't forget, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube at NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page at NTA Network News, Twitter handle at NTA News Now, and on Instagram at NTA Network for updates after this break.
So the Port Harcourt Network Center, more than 20 suspects were arrested in a vessel laden with over 1.5 million liters of crude oil seized by Nigerian Navy for alleged human trafficking and economic sabotage. Kingsley Maji reports that the arrest and seizure were in the course of the exercise Obagame 2022.
The fleet of Nigerian Navy participating in the exercise of Bangame 2022 effectively patrolled the nation's territorial waters. The troops were trained and exposed to contain maritime infractions such as piracy, illegal oil bunkering, human, drug, and arms trafficking, as well as weapon handling.
We were able to communicate with other navies and other maritime operation centers around the 4-5 coasts of the Gulf of Guinea. Now, in my assessment as the officer in tactical command, we have achieved our aim. Went on board, check, we were able to arrest, rescue those that were being trafficked, the human beings that were being trafficked, and members of NAPTIP were there.
Part of the sea exercise was equally targeted at checkmating unregulated and unreported fishing activities in Nigerian territorial waters. 20 suspects were apprehended for alleged involvement in human trafficking and illegal oil bunkering.
The essence of having agencies like NIMASA, the Nigerian Customs, Immigration, and NDLEA, among others,
in the exercise
is to see how these agencies can work together with the Nigerian Navy towards ensuring that the maritime sector is made safe.
The Nigerian Navy says it will sustain its presence at sea beyond this exercise to create a conducive atmosphere for legitimate economic activities to thrive for Nigerian business operators and their foreign allies. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
No fewer than 200,000 electorates have registered in the ongoing online and physical voters registration exercise in Cross River State. Resident Electoral Commissioner, Cross River State, Dr. Cyril Omoregbe, who discussed this, says the figure is not commensurating with the number of electorates expected to register in the state. Maureen Leah Ajum is here with update on online and physical voters registration in Cross River State.
The INEC Continuous Voter Registration Portal has it that a new voter can pre-register online. A registered voter can review his or her voter registration, request to update information, or transfer voter registration to another polling unit. This calls for the need to take advantage of continuous voter registration exercise and get registered ahead of the 2023 general elections. Interestingly, many Nigerians in Cross River State are making deliberate efforts to get registered, though many are yet to get registered. Respondents observe that many Nigerians are indifferent, hence the need for intensified sensitization.
Let people go home and tell their people they should see the need of having a voter's card.
We are on democracy. Definitely you need your PVC to vote.
The Cross River State Independent National Electoral Commission, which has not been too comfortable with the response of eligible voters towards the exercise previously, says there is a great improvement in recent times and assures of provision of adequate logistics, even to the ward level, to enhance accessibility and encourage more persons to get registered.
So far, we've gotten about 45 machines in the States, and I'm actually doing my best to make sure I get more machines to make it easier for people that are interested in registering to come out and register.
Respondents emphasized the need for intensive sensitization of the electorate to get registered. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
That's a package from here. Nationwide continues with Lami in Abuja.
Many thanks, Gabriela. Now, in 2021, the United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, received the sum of $1 million United States dollars from the government of Nigeria as part of an ECOWAS humanitarian assistance to the Nigerian government for victims of violent conflicts in northwest and northeastern Nigeria. This report highlights how the fund was used to support nutritional needs in some security-challenged states.
Receiving the grant from the ECOWAS Regional Stabilization Fund, the government of Nigeria collaborated with the World Food Programme in the country to apply the fund for alleviating food and nutrition needs, targeting 840 food insecure households, some 4,196 persons in Zamfara, Katsina and Borno states with food assistance. The target beneficiaries also received an average cash transfer of 27,000 naira in their prepaid bank cards or World Food Programme scope cards every month to buy their preferred food and a wide range of local nutritious foods from their preferred shops to stimulate local markets and agricultural production. To prevent acute malnutrition in children in the first 1,000 days of their lives, the program also provided nutrition assistance to children 6 to 23 months old and to pregnant and breastfeeding women from vulnerable and food insecure households. Some 14,070 children and 1,932 pregnant and breastfeeding women also received specialized nutritious food in the 3 project states. In addition to providing life-saving food and nutrition assistance to vulnerable families, the World Food Programme is also using the ECOWAS donation to build the resilience of households in the conflict-affected states of Borno, Adamawa, Yobe and Katsina. The project will provide milling machines and training support to 603 returnees from Cameroon and displaced rural women to support them in generating some income to sustain their livelihoods.
Now, motorists continue to queue in filling stations despite the 24-hour supply directive to designated filling stations by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC. Garba Muhammad Netala was at one of the filling stations where motorists lament the situation.
I am here at Area 11, Garki, close to Force headquarters. A filling station is dispensing the commodity that every Nigerian is yearning about. The fuel scarcity is biting harder, according to some consumers. But let's hear the situation from most of the people that we met on ground here.
So from morning to evening, you cannot even get 30 liters. You will leave your family at home, you leave your work. Even in the office where we are working now, we cannot submit anything or deliver the job in the office, all in the sake of fuel. Now like this, we are tired, we are fed up with this situation.
On my way from Cross River yesterday, I was buying fuel at the rate of 240 naira on my way. At Lafia, at Akwanga, and there was no queue. But maybe because they are selling at the official rate over here, everybody seems to come and be queuing here. And for the fear that the people selling on jerry cans, if you call them now, they'll come and give you fuel. But how do you trust the source of the fuel? That is why we all have to come and queue here for hours to be able to get fuel.
I've been queuing for like 5 hours. But I got into this filling station for like 2 hours now. That is, I spent 5 hours outside and I was inside for like 2 hours. As you can see, I'm still on queue.
At the time of filing this report, we have been able to talk to some motorists and they've told us the situation so far. They are experiencing rising costs in petrol price, particularly in some areas, environs. And then the attitude of people at the filling stations is also something to talk about. on another day. I am Garba Muhammad Nutala, NTA News.
Still on the fuel situation, motorists and residents of Abuja local government area and those in the northern region of Cross River State continue to lament the high cost of premium motor spirits (PMS) as its impact is negatively affecting the socio-economic activities of the people. Oba Hyacinth has the situation report.
This development, respondents say, is not good for business. For Friday, Ikpakpan, a commercial driver, he says the arbitrary increase is yielding negative effects on businesses and urge government to reverse the trend.
We cannot even fuel our car to our destination. Traveling down there to go and buy, the thing will be very high. And when you come, you must add something to cover up the fuel.
We are buying a black bucket of fuel, 400 naira. A liter of fuel here now we are buying 250. In the evening time, we are paying 300.
Our business is no they move again because of the fuel. Like mostly like we where they use motor, they do transportation.
Other respondents spoke in like manners about the rise in the price of goods and services. They appeal for government agencies to do the needful to reverse the ugly trend.
Onitsha here, first time we pay 6,000, now they say 10,000 with transport. Go and come, we are paying 20,000.
Because I go Makodi before, now 3,000 naira, now they pay 3,500. The gallon for fuel, oil I buy. I can't they pay 700 naira, or got the thing, it's too much. Government made a try, made a bring the price low, so that we go fit, pay the transport.
The respondent maintained that there is need for all critical stakeholders to address all issues leading to the illegal increase in pump price of fuel and curb it so as to check the hike of prices of goods and services. Oba Hyacinth, NTA News.
And now to the judiciary. The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, sitting in Kubwa, has vacated an interim order restraining the All Progressives Congress (APC) from going ahead with its planned national convention. The interim order followed a suit filed before the court last year by an aggrieved member of the APC, Salisu Umar. Justice Bello Kawu, who delivered the ruling, said the interim order has been overtaken by a recent judgment of the Supreme Court delivered last year on a similar matter of internal party affair.
No, the motion we filed has been taken to. It is the basis of that motion that the court arrived at this decision to vacate the order. The implication anyway, what you want to know, is that there's no longer any impediment for APC to go ahead to conduct its convention on the 26th of March. What? No further impediment.
With due respect to the court, the argument profiled by first and second defendant with respect to seeking setting aside of the order has no nexus whatsoever. So they have invoked the position of immunity that the second respondent has. But the truth is the order wasn't made at the second defendant. The order was directed at APC. APC enjoys no immunity. So if you look at the nexus, how the court arrived at setting, it is at variance. There's conflict. And so we look at it, if there will be need to appeal the decision, we will. But for now, we are bound by it.
Justice Kawu, however, denied the prayers of the defendant's counsel to dismiss the case for lack of jurisdiction and adjourned the matter to 30th of March for hearing of the substantive suit. Now, a federal high court sitting in Umuahia has ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to delete Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022. The court on Friday in its ruling declared
already stipulated that appointees of government seeking to contest elections were only to resign at least 30 days to the date of the election. They declared as invalid and unconstitutional any other law which mandated such appointees to resign or leave office at any other time. He therefore ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to delete the said subsection 12 of Section 84 from the body of the Electoral Act 2022, declaring it as unconstitutional.
He has just ordered that Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act is inconsistent with the rights of Nigerian citizens when read with Section 66 of the Constitution, 107, 137, 182, and now nullified Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act. And as equally has ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to delete Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act forthwith.
The court has already declared it a nullity, so it's for them to just delete and we'll move on.
The plaintiff, Ndoka Edede of the Action Alliance, had gone to the court to seek proper interpretation of Section 84, subsection 12 of the new Electoral Act. The court order is considered victory for President Muhammadu Buhari, who had earlier asked the National Assembly to expunge the clause as it breaches the rights of government appointees. In Umuahia, Ifeoma Nduokolie, NTA News.
And back here in Abuja, guests on Good Morning Nigeria have commended President Muhammadu Buhari for wading into the leadership crisis of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and dousing all apprehension about the March 26 National Convention of the governing party. Daniel Adiri tells us more.
Those of us that are elderly, that have been positioned by Almighty God to provide leadership, must always watch our backs and know that the younger generation are watching us.
A lot of progress has been made by this government, I must admit, in comparison to the previous, considering all of the challenges we've had locally and globally. But then again, if we do not improve on our processes, if we do not allow for varying opinions, especially within the ambits of the law, if we do not allow for people to freely and willingly express their concern, especially when they are valid, then we are building up a system to fail.
For the older and more experienced members of the APC, there is hope for better days ahead, while the younger members clamour for inclusion. There is, however, consensus that the challenges of the party should not give room for illegality of any kind.
The National Executive Committee has delegated powers to the Caretaker Committee, which they inherited from the Convention Committee as in our Constitution. So within the ambits of our Constitution, the caretaker have been discharging its duties. Well, there may seem underground current challenging their conducts and mode of operation. Does not mean that the caretaker committee is treading on illegality.
They urged party members at all levels to seek avenues for resolving internal conflict amicably without projecting the party in bad light. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NTA News.
And as the 2023 elections draw closer, stakeholders in the Nigerian political sphere have begun collaboration with other advanced climes. The latest is the meeting between leadership of the Inter-Party Advisory Council and some political leaders from China. Timothy Yusuf has the report.
Thank you very much.
This delegation from the Communist Party of the People's Republic of China's visit to the IPAC National Secretariat in Abuja is a pointer to the existing bilateral relationship between Nigeria and China. Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Yabagi Yusuf Sani, believes that the emerging signals on the political horizon are clearly demanding greater level of preparation and strategies on the part of the Council and other strategic key players in the country's democracy project.
The affinity that has been developed, over time, with the visit of our president to China, their own president also to Nigeria, I think it can never be more apt, for us to have this engagement. So that is why they're here.
Leader of the Chinese delegation to the IPAC leadership highlighted areas of collaboration between the two countries. He assured Nigeria of the needed support in the sustenance of collaborative democracy, which he said is the hallmark of crystallizing human development through economic prosperity, technological advancements, security and integration. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Now, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, has tasked leaders and stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party to stay united in a bid to win the 2023 presidential election. He was speaking at a consultative meeting with chairmen of the 36 state chapters of the party in Abuja. Again, Timothy Yusuf brings us the story.
Consultations are ongoing among various organs of the PDP and in compliance with the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) guidelines. This meeting between the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal and State Chairman of the PDP is one of such meetings.
Well, it is about consultation on the possibility of my running for the office of the president and seeking the mandate of our party members and leaders as standard flag bearer of the PDP in 2023 presidential election.
Speaking on behalf of his colleagues, Chairman of the Kaduna State chapter of the PDP, Felix Hiat, says that Governor Tambuwal, who doubles as Chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, is not unacknowledged of his bid to help the party return to its pleasant years at the center in Nigeria.
We want to move together and we want to make sure that whoever picks the ticket wins the election. So to us, it is not just an issue of primaries, it's an issue of the secondary election, which is more important.
He called on all aspirants to close ranks, urging them not to forget that the office of the president would only have a single occupant at any given time. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Now, 30 suspected criminals, including a 36-year-old bandit, terrorizing communities and road users along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway have been paraded as the Special Tactical Squad of the Federal Investigation Bureau Office, Abuja. Francis Form has the story.
He said he has kidnapped for more than 10 times.
This 36-year-old suspect confessed to have led a syndicate group that carried out several kidnapping operations along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway and also launched 3 different attacks on Kaduna communities. Scores of persons were killed during the notorious operations. While this 37-year-old female was arrested along Saminaka Just Expressway in possession of 15 locally made rifles and 400 rounds of 7.62 by 39mm AK-47 ammunition in a Toyota Hummer bus traveling from Jos to Kaduna State. Investigations revealed that the suspect is an arms smuggler for some bandit groups in Kaduna State, while this 33-year-old male from Donga in Taraba State was arrested while conveying 1,500 AK-47 ammunition from Wukari to bandits in the Donga forest. The operatives of STS equally apprehended this 26 and 37-year-old men, both from Okene, Kogi State, for involvement in major bank robbery operations in Ondo and Egbe Yagba West local government area of Kogi State in 2021. A security guard reportedly killed during the attack. While assuring the nation of the force's continuous close-up on criminal elements who pose a threat to national security, the force appeals to well-meaning Nigerians to assist the police with information to effectively combat crimes and criminality in the society. Meanwhile, the police says all suspects will be arraigned in court upon conclusion of investigations. Francis from NTA News.
We now take you to Maiduguri Network Center, where Abubakar is standing by for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Abubakar. It's good to see you.
It's actually nice to see you, Lani, and thank you for joining us. Let's move on now. The Global Fund grant through the Federal Ministry of Health has donated various classes of tuberculosis drugs to Borno State Ministry of Health to complement available strategies for the management, improvement of condition of patients, and awareness creation about the disease in the state. The Global Fund provides sustainable and easy access to medical care and free drugs to TB patients in challenging health landscapes worldwide. Muhammad Ibrahim will tell us more.
The donated drugs comprise hundreds of cartons of varieties of tuberculosis treatment medicines, TB drug resistance, sputum cups for specimen, face masks, hand sanitizers, cough diagnosis tools and test kits. This is in addition to some recording and reporting tools and awareness creation posters and pamphlets to support advocacy campaigns. Receiving the items, the Commissioner for Health, Comrade Juliana Bitrus, commended efforts of Global Fund Grant and Federal Ministry of Health for the timely assistance, saying the drugs have been supplied quarterly to the state, which were given free to patients. Comrade Juliana Bitrus said these classes of drugs donated will give hope to tuberculosis patients currently on medication, adding that the drugs will be distributed to all local government health centers in the state to enable patients access them. The Commissioner called on the public, particularly tuberculosis patients, to go to health centers to collect the drugs free. Drug Resistant Tuberculosis Focal Person Borno State TB Control Program, Zamdai Watari, expressed gratitude to Global Fund Grant and Federal Ministry of Health for the intervention, saying the drugs supplied quarterly provide sustainable medication for patients every year. He pointed out that the drugs will be distributed to 169 health facilities across the state for easy access by tuberculosis patients in the areas. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
From issues concerning health now, over 3,000 shortlisted indigenous youths of Borno State who applied for the Nigerian Navy recruitment have sat for the selection examination at Memlari Cantonment in Maiduguri, the state capital. Yagun Subakar has more details of the story.
Following announcement by the Nigerian Navy to commence recruitment exercise, significant number of indigenous youths from Borno State have applied and subsequently shortlisted for the examinations. While addressing applicants, the Executive Secretary Borno State Guardians and Counseling Board, Engineer Baba Malakai Gama, said Borno State government is working hard to reduce the rate of unemployment, especially among youths, hence the need for youth participation in the exercise. Engineer Baba Malakai Gama said the examination is for selection of successful candidates who will be recruited into the Nigerian Navy and called on them to work hard and pass their examinations, stressing that more opportunities will be given to those who could not pass the exercise in an effort to address unemployment.
They should not take it as a do or die affair. They are all sitting for exams and the marking is going to be computerized.
He called on them to always protect the image and interests of the state wherever they found themselves. Chairman of the board, Abba Lawan Ashigashia, said they were at the venue to supervise the conduct of the exercise and wish them success. A member of the board, Dr. Hawamai Musa, said henceforth, sensitization campaign will be organized for adequate female participation to enable more women in the job. Similarly, about 100 civilian joint task force youths involved in counterinsurgency operations have been selected across 27 local government areas of Borno State to join the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, who are undergoing training in Abuja. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories at this time from Maiduguri. Let us at this point take a commercial break, but Agatha in Benin will return with another set of stories for us on Nationwide this evening.
Thank you for staying. Adopting policy framework that will address Africa's security challenges and facilitate transborder economic cooperation and integration took center stage as the National Workshop on the African Union Integrated Border Governance Strategy and the African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation. Joseph Woodson reports that the theme of the interface is towards a secured, prosperous and integrated border.
It is an ensemble of major actors who are seeking ways of domesticating the African Union's two programs of Integrated Border Governance Strategy and the Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation.
We want to see how we can at least promote cross-border cooperation between the African states to douse the tension and try to see how we can jointly utilize our common facilities, create avenues for cross-border movement that will be of benefit to the African nations.
Chairman National Boundary Commission, Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, represented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, underscores the impact of the multinational joint task force in the fight against insurgency, among many other importance of interstate cooperation.
Would serve as veritable tools that would reduce the barrier effects of the borders
and further deepen Africa's integration as the 55 small and fragmented territorial economies are transformed into one single market without borders.
In fact, we cannot and no longer neglect the border communities, and strengthening them will also have a positive impact on border security.
Participants here believe development of infrastructure linking border communities and ensuring citizens understand regional policies will help tremendously in dealing with cross-border challenges. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Now, the British High Commission in Nigeria says the reports making the rounds on temporary suspension of priority visas for students and family application is not true. In a statement, the Commission says its visa application centers remain open and customers are welcome to apply for any standard visa of any category of UK visa in the usual manner, including students, family, work and visits. It further explains that the Commission's March 15 statement only applies to the UK VI's expedited, added value, priority and super priority visa services. The Commission apologizes for any inconvenience the developments may have caused. Now, creating economic value for artworks in Nigeria through cultural exchange is the main thrust as the maiden edition of Abuja International Art Fair. Joseph Otsen reports that the exposition displayed outstanding modern works of art by a Nigerian artist in multiple genres targeted for international collectors.
Since 2008, when the art fair started, Lagos State has been the one hosting the event. This time around, the art fair is brought to Abuja to also give artists in the northern part of the country a platform to exhibit their creativity on an international stage.
We are promoting a total local content and give them a very nice platform to exhibit their best to the whole world. And also to promote the international concept of exhibition in any of its application.
So it's a movement, it's a revolution the way we put in this.
It's a privilege for us to showcase our work and to be able to let the world see what we are capable of.
For the organizers, the National Gallery of Art, the exhibition stands to create international market opportunities for entrepreneurs and platform for cultural exchange.
We have made concerted effort to see how we can have a place, an edifice where we use as a gallery, where the artworks of great Nigerian artists will be displayed.
These arts here are very, very beautiful. They are extremely nice.
It's not like me that offers the subject visual arts. I would like to try it when I go back to school. I feel like I do my own too.
The National Gallery of Art is planning to make the Abuja International Art Fair an annual event. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
For effective dissemination of information and service delivery to the people of Kogi and beyond, management of Radio Nigeria Prime FM has commended the foundation laying stone of its ultra-modern studio and transmitting hall on Mount Patti, Lokoja. Francis Udojo reports that the Deputy Governor of the state, Edward Onoja, performed the foundation laying ceremony on behalf of Governor Yahaya Bello.
Deputy Governor of Kogi State, Edward Onoja, laying the foundation stone for Radio Nigeria Prime FM studio.
Information, they say, is power. Power to unite or power to divide. The media ought to continue to preach oneness, love, and tolerance.
The event, which coincides with the 10th anniversary of the station, was an opportunity to review challenges of transmitting power, which could only reach 4 out of 21 local government areas of Kogi State. Hence, the decision of Mampati for easy reception of its signals. Media icons and professionals x-rayed the role of the broadcasting industry and urged government and private individuals to give adequate attention to standard equipment and facilities to enable broadcast stations achieve the purpose for establishment.
As we mark this milestone, I want to encourage staff to continue to uphold the tenets of professionalism in all they do, We must continue to adhere to the proud tradition of FRCN of upholding the people and uniting the nation.
I will support the prime effort to ensure the technical aspect of this thing is effectively covered.
The ceremony featured a lecture on radio as medium of grassroots reorientation and mobilization in an election year, a time for greater community participation. Awards were also presented to deserving personalities. From Lokoja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Catch them young, gets them involved, stimulates their consciousness towards developing passion for productivity, dominated the National Productivity School debate held in Abuja, where Government Day Secondary School Dutse Alhaji Abuja emerged the winner over 3 other schools that reached the final. GDSS was able to convince the audience that private school is more productive than public school.
Productivity is a term with varieties of meaning. It means the ability of students to produce abundantly or to use favorable outputs in the labor force.
Private school usually sets a benchmark for the student, but that is not the case for public school. In private school, they usually throw a challenge to the student to do their best in order to gain admission. And this is why the population in private school is nothing compared to that in public school.
Being a champion alone does not mean being a role model. You have to impact into other people's lives. So you have to spread the productivity news out there for other people to benefit and also become a beneficiary of what is happening here.
And I would like them to use that smartness and study to be productive in society, because that's what your country like Nigeria is looking for today. Productive students, for productive minds, to be productive leaders.
So it is our fervent hope that these youths, as they grow up, they will grow to think about productivity, they will grow to talk about productivity, they will grow to act productivity.
Plans are on the way to expand the National Productivity School debate across the country. Now, the road to full realization of women's quest to be mainstreamed may be rough, but not unattainable. The acting Canadian High Commissioner Kevin Tucker says this while comparing Nigerian women with their Canadian counterparts in the bold in commemoration of International Women's Day in Abuja. Ngozi Teknikio reports.
Looking at the journey so far, Nigerian women have come a long way to lend their voices against inequality, discrimination and violence. Canadian envoy to Nigeria, Kevin Tucker, commending its affiliate partners championing the cause of ending violence against women and children across Africa. The diplomat urged women not to relent in their quest to attain gender balance.
At the same time, we're optimistic and inspired by the work of civil society in Nigeria and other stakeholders to continue the fight, to continue to work hard to advance gender equality.
We know that women and girls experience sexual assault. We know that today we're still experiencing early child marriage, and the growing numbers of adult school children are prominent in northern Nigeria. So for us, we're building this movement using our gender advocates. Today we have about 250 of them, but we want to scale and expand across Nigeria. We want to be able to equip women and girls with tools and information that they can speak for themselves.
With this kind of support, analysts believe now is the time for those aspirations on more women participation in governance to be realized. Ngozi Teknikio, NTA News.
Let's join Cynthia Goon for Sports Update. And that also brings us to the end of Nationwide today. We thank you for watching. Remember to join the NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. I'm Lami Ali.